In the 1960s, while the whole world was focused on America's Apollo missions, right at that time, our neighboring planet Venus was the site of some truly terrifying experiments. The Soviet Union, or the Russians, planned a suicide mission to Venus. After spending billions of dollars and years of effort, they built a probe that would, for the first time in history, land on another planet and capture its pictures. But what the Russian probes encountered on Venus was a hellish nightmare that left their scientists stunned. Today, we will learn about those Russian suicide missions to Venus that revealed the planet's terrifying secrets and how a small camera lens cap ruined years of Russian hard work and billions of dollars. What was it about Venus that, even with today's technology, Russia has never returned there? Viewers, in the 1960s and 1970 seconds, the Cold War was at its peak. There was intense competition between America and today's Russia to see who would become the king of space. Both countries wanted to show the world something that demonstrated their power and capability. In this race, America put all its effort into the moon, although Russia had already won part of the race by landing probes on the moon. American President John F. Kennedy had promised the world that they would land a human on the moon before the 1970s. Began a huge claim. When the Russians saw that America might actually reach the moon, they shifted their target to Venus. Their goal was to prove that if America could go to the moon, Russia could step onto hell itself. Until then, scientists believed Venus and Earth were very similar. Both are neighbors, roughly the same size, and at a similar distance from the sun. But one clear difference was visible from afar. Unlike Earth, Venus was completely shrouded in clouds. At that time, no one knew what lay beneath those thick clouds. It was a secret box even for scientists. Russia thought that the moon could be seen through telescopes anyway. If they showed the world what was inside Venus's clouds, it might be an even bigger achievement than America's moon landing. And if oceans, forests, or alien creatures were captured beneath those clouds, it would be a direct victory for the Russians. With this thinking, the Russians planned not one or two, but a total of 18 missions to Venus. For this, they designed a probe called Venera, which means Venus in Russian. At that time, scientists were certain of one thing: the clouds surrounding Venus and its proximity to the sun meant it had an atmosphere, but no one knew how much thicker it was compared to Earth's. They designed Venera to withstand high atmospheric pressure. During the space race, the Russians kept all their experiments secret until they succeeded otherwise. They would face embarrassment for failures. On February 4, 1961, Russia sent its first probe toward Venus, but it failed to escape Earth's orbit. Following their policy, they never told the world about this failure and simply called it a heavy satellite launch. The Russians had another policy. They built two probes for one mission so that if one failed, the other could complete it. This time, they made two, Venera 1 and Venera 2. Their goal was just a flyby passing by Venus and collecting some data. Venera 1 launched on February 12, 1961, the first probe ever sent toward another planet. But just 7 days later, contact was lost. As a result, this silent probe passed Venus from about 100,000 kilometers away, but sent no data. It is still drifting around the sun today. 4 years later, on November 12, 1965, Venera 2 was launched, but it met the same fate as Venera 1. Contact lost right after leaving Earth's orbit, and the mission failed. In the 1960s, Russia made several other attempts, but they all failed miserably. These were not even given the Venera name and are called ghost missions in space race history. Now came the turn of Venera 3 and 4 in 1966. This time, the Russians built larger, more powerful probes, weighing 1 ton each. They had two parts: a bus to carry the probe to the planet's outer atmosphere, and a sphere to enter inside. The sphere had sensors, pressure sensors, barometers, gas analyzers to detect gases in Venus's atmosphere, thermometers, batteries, and 2 antennas to transmit all the data. Venera 3's mission was only to check the atmosphere. No soft landing was planned or equipped. It was a suicide mission. But sadly, as soon as it entered Venus's terrifying winds, its system failed, and it sent no data back to Russian scientists. It was just a crash landing. Yet on March 1, 1966, Venera 3 became the first man-made object to strike another planet's surface. The next year, in October 1967, Venera 4 brought the Russians some success. It advanced toward Venus without system failure and discovered that the atmosphere was mostly carbon dioxide. Initially, the Russians claimed the atmosphere was 25 times denser than Earth's, and that Venera 4 landed intact on the surface because it had a parachute, but later it was found that Venera 4 was crushed like a soda can by the high atmospheric pressure upon entering the atmosphere, and never reached the surface. Once the Russians realized their probes couldn't land on Venus's surface, they sent Venera 5 and 6 just to operate in the air. Their design was similar to Venera 4, with parachutes, and they had only about 50 minutes in Venus's atmosphere to send data. Both launched in 1969, but the result was the same. They crashed within an hour before sending much information, but the Russians didn't give up. This time, they made Venera extremely strong like a tank. It was so heavy and tough that its only goal was to survive on Venus. Due to the focus on durability, fewer scientific instruments were added. But perhaps Venus's luck was bad. During landing, a technical issue jammed the switchboard in a position where it could only send temperature data. Yet, the clever Russian scientists estimated from that temperature data alone that the surface atmospheric pressure was 90 times Earth's equivalent to the pressure 1 kilometer deep in the ocean. As Venera 7 approached landing, another problem arose. Its parachute tore, and it fell at 17 meters per second onto Venus's surface. The good news was that Venera 7 survived. The bad news was it landed upside down with its antenna pointing downward. But the Russian scientists didn't lose hope. They captured even the weak signal with the antenna down. In its broken state, Venera 7 maintained contact with Earth for the next 23 minutes. Thus, it became the first man-made object to land on another planet's surface and send signals from there. But the temperature it detected on Venus's surface sent shivers down the world's spine. 465 degrees Celsius, twice as hot as an oven. An astonishing thing. As it descended, Venera 7 continuously sent radio signals to Earth. Russian scientists noticed something pushing the probe sideways during descent, causing slight changes in radio frequency due to the Doppler effect. Calculating this, they estimated 360 kilometers per hour stormy winds in Venus's atmosphere for stronger than Earth's biggest storms. Venera 8 was more advanced than previous missions because the Russians now knew what kind of terrifying enemy they faced. 90 times the pressure, 360 kilometers per hour, winds, and heat hotter than an oven. Venera 8 had a gamma spectrometer to test the soil and a light sensor. This time, it was deliberately landed during the day to measure surface light levels. The light sensor confirmed that despite thick clouds, enough light reached Venus's surface for things to be visible. It showed that sunlight diffused everywhere, like on Earth during overcast days. Venera 8 survived on Venus's surface for 60 minutes, surviving even 1 hour in 465°C heat, and such pressure was nothing short of a miracle. The era of Venera 9 to 12 was Russia's greatest success and greatest misfortune. These 4 probes had a very different design, over 5 tons heavy, with the UFO-like lander. A round central box held delicate electronics to protect them from immediate heat and pressure. At the bottom was a crush ring that would crumple on landing like a shock absorber, and above was an umbrella-like aero brake to slow descent. These probes had what everyone was waiting for: cameras. Each had 2 cameras for a 360-degree view. But at the last moment, a glitch occurred. After landing, the lens caps didn't open. On Venera 9 and 10, only one camera's cap opened. Venera 11 and 12 survived 110 minutes, but sadly, both probes' lens caps failed to open on both cameras. They sent plenty of data, but no pictures. On October 2, 1975, Venera 9 sent Venus's first picture using one lens, a historic moment. A human-made machine sent an image from another planet. The world saw that Venus was not a sandy desert, but a rocky, terrifying landscape scattered with sharp stones. Now came Venera 13 and 14, the golden era's brilliant ending for the Soviet Union. These missions showed the world things humans had never seen before. But they also featured one of the strangest mistakes in space history. These probes had not only cameras, but also a microphone. After landing, when Venera 13's microphone opened on Venus's surface, it recorded sounds like wind and what sounded like thunder, the first recording of another planet's winds and lightning. It also had a drill and seismometer. Soil samples confirmed earthquakes occur on Venus too. Venera 13 sent the first color pictures of Venus, showing an orange sky and brownish ground. But what happened with Venera 14 will leave you stunned. It had a spring-loaded arm that slammed into the ground on landing to test soil hardness. But by bad luck, the camera lens cap fell exactly where the tester arm was supposed to hit. As a result, the instrument measured the hardness of its own camera cap instead of the soil. Millions of dollars of effort were wasted because of a small cap. Moving on, with Venera 15 and 16, Russia changed strategy. Instead of landing, these probes orbited Venus for 8 months. They carried synthetic aperture radar because Venus's clouds are too thick for cameras. Using radar, they mapped Venus's surface over 8 months, revealing 88 km high mountains and thousands of km long cracks. Thanks to these Soviet missions, we have a complete map of Venus today. Although America called the Russian Venera missions failed experiments, it was because of them that we learned Venus is extremely hot, has 90 times Earth's pressure, clouds of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid, constant, stormy, hellish hot winds, and a rocky, sharp stone-covered surface. During the space race, the Soviet Union conducted so many missions to Venus, some secret, some public, that many still call it the Soviet planet. Many valleys and craters on Venus bear Russian names. Venus's clouds are made of sulfuric acid. So why doesn't acid rain reach the surface? Tell me your answer in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share it fully. See you in the next amazing video.